Hey, stop kicking the bike. I said it's called an attack bike. An attack bike. Oh, God. We have two sprues, one with the standard bike by the looks of it, and one with the sidecar, which is an interesting piece. If it's that simple. I mean, I've never seen one of these before up this close. I think maybe because the sprues are blue. It might be throwing me for a second. I believe they're normally grey, but the sprues look fine. No issue, no damage. Well, that's 58 without damage. Oh, look. Got some purity seals. I am going to be using those for my Sons of the Phoenix. Alright, we've got the attack base, the bike for the base for the attack bike even. What a day. Yeah, it's got with holes and without holes. I take it back in the day they used to put holes in these, or you can just drill through the hole to put the peg from the bottom of the model's foot straight through, and it gave you positions to put it. So that's still cool they looked at that, even in 2017. That's quite a large base. That's about the size of Abaddon's base, if I remember rightly. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's have a look at the magazine. And there's a map. Yes. Alright, okay. Let's have a look. Now, as always, if we've got the model in the front, we know we get a treat in the magazine. And that's all good. We've got the Space Marine attack bike, Discover the Tau Empire, and History of the Raven Guard. So let's take a closer look inside. As always, we've really seen that sneaky bit. We've got our attack bikes, we've got our Legacy of Shadows, Tau Empire, and Tau Showcase. So we've got quite a lot of lore and quite a lot of Xenos lore going on here. So that's going to be interesting in filling out our faction sections there. We've got our attack bike build, our paint, which is going to be fine, and we've got our mission and our data sheet. So I wonder if they're going to add that in as part of the 3-crew biker squad that we had before, because you can actually take an attack bike as long as you've got 3 bikers, as per the rules. So let's have a look. Attack bikes. Now, you know I love my stats on stuff like this. Oh, we've got a bit of bright light there. Let me just shift that around. So when it comes to like the stats and the ratings, as I've said before, they should do this with everything, and I would love, seriously love, if Games Workshop put this on something like the boxes, or a little card or little sheet. I know they do it with the stats, but this looks so much better with bar rating. I just love it. That is awesome. Alright, okay. The back covers come off. I'll just chuck that over there. We'll get to that. So obviously when it comes to bikes, they love to talk about white scars. We get to see our land speeder there that we had from previous issue. And that's really nice. Now I have painted up the attack bike, and white is so friggin' hard to paint. And that's no joke. So Legacy of Shadows, what have we got here? We've got Raven Guard information. So we got more of the sneaky Marines as ninjas. Someone said they're just cautious. One of the comments from the previous video, I just say they're sneaky. So we've got some history and lore there. Tau Empire. Now these guys are unusual. With the Tau, it's tricky to say. These guys come across like Star Trek, you know, like the whole expansion in space. They don't have faster than light technology when it's like warp travel. So they're slowly expanding, and you know, they're doing okay. They think they're the big boys of the field, and they're kind of introducing 1 or 2 Imperium planets into trade routes, and they're kind of gaining trust, but they're still Xenos. So when the Imperium force and fleets come across them, they wipe them out. But these guys, they believe in the greater good. That's their thing. They believe that everybody could be better. They could all come together. But you know, the Imperium is totally xenophobic. They're not into this whatsoever. There could be a lot of things that could be gained. I could see Belisarius Call really working, and the AdMech gaining a lot of information from these guys to better the technology, maybe to fight chaos, because they're still, they're still knocking around. But this is just another battlefront that the Imperium have to face, which weakens their resources, which works out for everybody else other than the Imperium. So we have the Tau, kind of like how you have different chapters For the Space Marines, you have the same thing for the Tau, and they're called Tau sets. Effectively, they work in different formats, and I think it's elemental based if I remember rightly. I don't know too much on Tau. I do have a bag of Tau models that I've had now for about a year and a half, and I rescued from eBay, and I haven't painted them whatsoever, and that's my bad, because I'm trying to figure out, one, which sept I want them to be, and two, if I really want to play them. They really do have some cool manga design armor. I love power armors, I love transformers, I love all that kind of stuff. So I like the combination of these items, kind of like the battle suits and the Iron Man angles. But the army itself just doesn't endear itself to me, and it's just a preference thing. I mean, I do like Tyranids, maybe because they're total beasts, but I mean, that does look good. I mean, we can see the septs there, they got the different colours. The different colours tend to have different abilities, kind of again like the different chapters. And now with the whole kind of the supplements for Space Marines, so if you are getting this and you've only on this, or if you've just gotten into Space Marines, you're going to want to go and buy yourself the Space Marines book, the new one, 2019, and then you're going to want to pick your supplements index for your particular legacy chapter or what have you. This is the same principle, so pick what looks cool and then build from there. I think that's best. Sorry, getting caught up on the Xenos. Attack bite there, build information. I mean, it is what it is. Straightforward, 2 sprues. It did go together quite nicely, and what I did here, rather than just have one item optional, which was just like either the melter or the bolter, what I did was I placed a bolter on the top right hand side and actually kind of magnetized this to make it detachable. So that gives me 4 attack bikes and 1 side bike that I can attach to any of the bikes. Just use a bit of bottom of a can there, stick it to the bottom of each bike and just put 1 magnet there, and then you've got 1 magnet kind of attaches to all of them. It's really handy. And yes, those purity seals will still be nicked for other things. So here's a painting. We've got our undercoats, whichever colour you're going to go for. This is where it's separated. We've got our colours there, standard. Now obviously you've been going through this and you kind of know how to do your colours, but I suggest that when it comes to your melter, just give it a bit of a burnish. So instead of painting the whole thing gold, just kind of take some of the gold off your brush and just touch it to the tip, just there, and then come back in with black, and then go in with just the brightest silver and just touch the edges just there, and it just makes it look like the metal is heated. If you really want to go in, just come back in with a touch of blue, just right on the barrels and closer to the barrel itself, just a little kind of touch of purple. It's kind of heating. You see it on a lot of bikes. So we're continuing here with our washes. These are small details. I've just painted the whole of that silver. I just didn't even bother with that on the back. So that's good to see variations. I did paint the wires and the piping, kept it all the same. Now this was a bit tricky because I used legitimately white on the colouring. It was very hard to wash, so it's like white and gold. For the Sons of Phoenix, it's quite hard to get that to come through. So what I'm going to do is dirty the front of the bike just using like a mud colour. If you've got the Conquest, I think you have Steel Legion Drab, you could use that as a mud colour for this, and that would work as well. Continuing, it really did fall apart badly. We've got our screen with the bike. That's a good idea. The Mechanicus, just touch the wheels there. I would still dirty up, and I wouldn't even stick this to the base. Like here they have that on that massive base, so I wouldn't bother. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to detach it at the moment. So we've got our lensing, which is good, highlighting, which is fine, and bringing it all together. We've got the earth, soil there, because whichever one you want to do with this, whether you want to make it toxic or what have you, it depends on the wash that you put on that, just as a reminder. And you got Dawnstone, fishing out, that's not too bad. I think the colour combination of the grey and the blue works really well on this base. Seeing the silver Templars on this, it's okay, but the silver and the grey are very close together. So if you just tone that out, it might make it a bit better. Other than that, let's continue. So we've got our vehicular assault. This is mission number 41. So we're really getting in there. I mean, we're coming up to the end of this, guys. And I'm really excited because there's so much more after this, but you know, it's like an achievement to go through this collection and to have this. And I'm actually going to start looking at expanding the army from what we've already gotten. I know I said that before, but with all the index stuff and everything coming out and so many changes, it was just too much all at once and no time. And it can be overwhelming. So rather than do that, I've let everything settle. And if I start with Nurgle first, I think it'll make a lot more sense. All I'm going to do is take the basis of the arm we got and just fill it out, adding in more models, which will actually help to supplement the army. Whereas you only might have got one bloke drone, I might look at getting two, and what the effects are, and how the buffs interact with each character. Otherwise, these missions sometimes kind of means that you miss out on them. Okay, so we have the breakthrough. So we've got the battle mat there, we've got two mats combined. We've got the side that the Space Marine deployments will be coming on. So we've got placing an objective marker at the centre of the board. Death Guard player place a second objective marker to represent the motor pool. This objective must be placed more than 6 inches from the board edges to control the objective. You must have more models within 3 inches of it than the enemy at the end of the game. So let's have a look at what we've got here. We have the 3 command points for both. Remember to select your Warlord trait from the ones that we've gotten. You've got Lord of Contagion, Tainted Cohort, 7 Plague Marines, Chaos Rhino, Malefic Blight Hauler, and Fetid Bloat Drone. That's the first time those two have been together. I'm sure of it. Space Marines, got Primaris Captain, 10 Intercessors, Bike Squad, Land Speeder, and Redemptor Dreadnought. So we've really got all the vehicles. Yeah, looking at that. Apart from you got Primaris Captain, like, that's the odd one out. And they don't have transport, whereas the other ones do. Okay, Lord of Contagion can teleport. Okay, so deployment. Death Guard player deploys all their units first. Space Marine then plays after. Good, okay. Board. Space Marine player takes first turn. Alright, fair enough. Eliminate the enemy, 1 point. Victory conditions. First player to eliminate an enemy, 1 point, so first strike. Each enemy eliminated vehicle, 1 point, and each objective controlled, 2 points. Lasts for 5 turns. So that's a lot of fun. I like these little missions like this because it's not necessarily about destroying the opponents, which pretty much all Warhammer is really, come on, let's face it. But you've got objectives to do, and objectives are well overlooked in a lot of games. Once you start playing at, you know, a more competitive level, objectives are the difference between winning the overall game and losing. Even if you get tabled, you know, even if you lose all your models, if you're heading points enough, you can still claim victory of the game. So it's a Pyrrhic victory, so to speak. Alright, let's continue. So we got the attack bike squad there, which is different. It's an attack bike, but it's an attack bike squad. Okay, so I'm looking at this. It said this unit contains 1 attack bike. It's equipped with a twin bolt gun and heavy bolter, and is crewed by 2 Space Marines with bolt pistols, frag grenade, and crack grenade. That's handy. So you get 2 extra bolt pistols, and you get your heavy bolter or your multi-melter, and your twin bolt guns. That's a crazy amount of firepower. No wonder it's an attack bike squad rather than just an attack bike. Okay. So yeah, you got the option there, switching out the multi-melter for bolter. Codex discipline, again, this just comes down to which codex you select. So just bring that a bit closer there. And turbo boost, when this unit advances, adds 6 to its move. That's handy, considering you've got a move of 20, and with the small map that we've got, that just takes you right across the board. Okay, so you got your guidance information, you got next issue, and that issue is just crazy good. Crazy good, more than one, and even this issue is good again. Definitely buy more than one. So what I'll do is I'll get the model up and running, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so here it is, the attack bike. Now, I had a lot of fun putting this together, very simple, straightforward. I've got some decals on there, and it's looking nice. Now I have added the bolter, the heavy bolter, and the multi-melter on there at the same time. Now, if I'm playing with someone, when I'm using this bike, I don't think they mind if I've got both weapons on there. It's just that I can opt between one or the other without having to get another model. It was a lot of fun to build, a lot of fun to paint. It was difficult, but that layers, white scar paint, helped a lot. It gives you a smooth transition for the paint job. And there we go.